is Chris and Cassie again doing a Sunday Chronicles on November 23rd, 24th. I know it's Thanksgiving, but and that's why part of the reason our title of episode 15 of Sunday Chronicles is giving thanks. Thanks. And the camera, in case you actually look at it, is over here this time. I flipped it.
Oh.
Just not that you look. Not that you look, anyways, but it's fine.
Cool.
Hey, same old thing. Always cutting out in the beginning. So episode 15 of Sunday Chronicles is called Giving Thanks. So we're going to talk about a few different things that have come up today in our conversations, and just kind of have a discussion and see where it goes. So
cool. So, is it possible to be thankful and grateful every day?
Of course it is.
Okay.
It's something that you should be grateful and thankful all the time without having to even say anything to anyone else, on social media or, kind of blasting, I'm thankful.
It's just kind of a habit.
Well, yeah, actually becoming, being able to be grateful or feeling real thankfulness and feeling grateful is something that is a habit with practice. As that may sound kind of silly, but for me, I would say I was thankful for something, but I never lived with a constant feeling of gratitude in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do, and it's a completely different feeling. So I think it does take practice with every little thing, good or bad, that happens in your life. You can practice gratitude towards that because you should be grateful for everything.
So you can find gratitude in the hard time.
Of course.
The tough times.
I almost want to flip this around. This is really throwing me off.
Why?
No, the phone. Here, hold on. Sorry, keep going. Hey, everybody. Whoa. All right. Maybe are we upside down now? Would that be bad? I don't know. I'm freaking myself out.
No, just leave it. Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't like it. All right, anyway, sorry. Okay. So, yes, practicing gratitude is kind of what we were talking about.
So it's possible to find gratitude in tough situations.
Yes, it's usually the only way to survive them, mentally and emotionally.
So complaining about them does no good.
Not at all. I actually just posted something about that. It's funny. I didn't even know you were going to say that.
Collective consciousness.
There you go. Try to be that person that doesn't gossip, is not complaining, and it'll just elevate your conversations and the others around you. And so it's something so good to, when you're not complaining, you're focused on elevating yourself and elevating others.
Gratitude.
Anyway, and that
I would like to personally give thanks to those who, along the path of Son, especially in the last couple of years, specifically give thanks to those who made it difficult.
Yeah, and Son, by the way, for those who may not know, it's
our business,
our concept, our conscious concept to help people find themselves and be happy and know who they are and grow.
Not necessarily be happy, I think.
Just
to find,
once you find that, you're happy. So. Yeah, Son, just so you know what that is.
Son, Mind, and Body on Facebook and Instagram and all of those things.
But yeah, it's been a rough road for us with Son.
But it's been
it's
awesome.
Beautiful at the same time.
So
we're grateful for it. I mean, we truly have gratitude for every single thing that has happened. I have forever. That's why you shouldn't live with regrets or anything. You shouldn't be looking back anyhow. But if you do, everything should be with a feeling of gratitude for it actually happening, because
now, I tell you, while you're in it, it's hard to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, while you're in it, you're going to want to complain. You're going to want to cry and things like that.
But the quicker you find gratitude for what's going on, the easier it gets.
I think I found it more to be a lesson. Like if it gets shitty. If it gets really shitty, you're going to be like, okay, what am I not facing? Okay. Forgiveness, compassion.
Yeah, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
There's a reason. There's a lesson in it, always.
So, yeah, once you find that forgiveness for yourself or for whomever may be being an asshole towards whatever you're trying to do. That I think that was remember forgiveness of self. That was a tough one for me.
Yeah, learning to forgive not only others but yourself for everything.
Yeah, trying
anything is a tough one.
It goes back to the thing that we were talking about. When you're given a particular situation, how quickly can you act on it, and how quickly can you find peace through it, whether it's an external factor that's thrown at you, or whether it's something you have to deal with.
Because typically that external factor that's thrown at you is
a mirror reflection of you.
Something that you internally need to work through.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's a trip how it works, but that's how it works.
Yeah. So when something's thrown at you externally, it's typically something you need to work in internally.
You're given a mirror. You're given a mirror, and if it's annoying you, it's something inside of you.
Yeah, there's a reason it's bothering you. No one gives you your feelings. You create them yourself.
How can another human being or a situation hurt your feelings when they're your feelings? And kind of chew on that. So give thanks. I give thanks to everybody that has made it difficult. I forget who you are. And all is forgiven. And someone said,
learned something from
someone said, I've never met, I can't remember who it was, like Da Vinci or somebody like that. I've never met anyone so stupid that I couldn't learn from them.
I always saw something like, I don't remember who that is.
But yeah, whoever said that, meaning you can learn something from everybody.
Hence being what we're talking about, being grateful for every single thing. It really is a practice that you have to, there's a difference in saying it, that there's a difference in doing, saying, etc. But when you're saying you're grateful, that's the first step to it. Mm-hmm. But really there's such a special feeling of gratitude in your heart once it becomes a practice for you. So make it a daily practice.
Because it kind of gets rid of all the shit you're holding on to.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, if you're focusing on your path and you're doing your thing, it is, and or you could be willy-nilly, like we talked about on the last episode. You could be one of those plants that haven't figured out you have a purpose yet. And if you have that, then cool. Well, do your thing.
Well, what's great about practicing gratitude, like I said, start being grateful for everything. When you're stuck in traffic, for example, for those who have to commute, find something to be grateful for. Don't sit there and complain and get upset. It's really easy to do.
You could be stuck in traffic to maybe prevent something that you don't want to be involved with. Your
accidents or anything. There's a reason you're stuck in traffic, but enjoy it. Look around you. Really get into the music. Do whatever, but be grateful for that moment. You really start to become grateful for each and every moment. So keep practicing that,
and that also helps you stay in the moment.
Because,
if you're focusing on that moment
of why you're grateful, that exact moment,
that eternal now, it keeps you in the moment. That's pretty cool. I like that.
I like that because you're not living in the past or the future at that point. You're like, I'm grateful that this just happened, and it's
staying in the now is important. Just being present. Present. So, I am grateful for every situation that was difficult, all the hard times, and then the flip side of that, I can count on this hand those that were there for us. Yeah. Made sure that we were made sure we were eating, and you all know who you are, and I will never forget you guys. So, cool. All right. Grateful, giving thanks for everything. So it is possible to find gratitude in every particular situation.
I believe so. Feels really good too when you do it.
Thanksgiving, the holiday. You see a lot of this. It's a fucking crock of shit. It just is. It's a Hallmark holiday. It reminds me, it's celebrating something very terrible.
But it's also all consumerism. It's all about
that's what every
money.
Holiday is consumerism.
But it's unfortunate that a day that we're supposed to give thanks is not.
And it's a day. And no, it's a hopefully at least one day of the year you can kind of practice if you're not aware of it. But yes, it is a bullshit holiday. But it's a 4-day weekend for us. So I found a good in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still. It should be a practice that you have every day about being thankful and grateful. It should.
But you see a lot of people, and this goes into what we're going to cover next or talk about next. We're going to talk about vegan, vegetarian. We're going to talk about carnivores, and but we'll get to that in a minute. The actual tradition and everything that goes along with it. The whole pilgrim thing coming over and
trying to conforming people who were so close with nature and themselves.
Yeah, you
it's backwards.
Yeah,
really.
That is where indoctrination begun. That was
before that in history,
sure. But I'm saying it for this particular couple of centuries. That is kind of where it all started. We're
gonna hurt, pillage, rape, destroy, kill to get what we want, which is more people to be Christian. To follow our God when it's all the same, and it's just.
This is the way I see it. You see a bunch of people out there living off the land. Living one with God, understanding it, like
God
respect.
Is in everything.
There's respecting. God is in a fragment of God is in everything, and then you've got people that come up and separate them by handing them a book. They basically separated them from God.
Mm-hmm.
And from themselves.
Because they already found God.
And
those who, I'm sure, I would have to dig deeper, but I'm sure there's those, they still have their connection to God, but they just they were going through suffering because of what these people imposed upon them.
Yeah, so we're very aware of that. But as far as today, grateful, one of my neighbors, 300 days out of the year, let's slide into the vegan thing real quick.
Okay. Because I'm vegetarian, I try to eat vegan as much as possible.
I over the last 6 months have been gifted a lot of meat. This has been the strangest.
Chris will typically eat more vegetarian because he'll cook for me, which is awesome. He's such a good chef. And
so 300 days out of the year, I'm
you eat vegetarian.
Vegetarian. Mm-hmm. I like butter. I like cheese. Sorry. And what we, you see a lot of vegans, especially today, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And it's cool. I get it.
You're fighting, my belief, you're fighting for a good cause. I completely get it.
I do too.
Because the treatment of animals is personally the reason why it's not for a health reason. I think some people go for the health. I'm doing it because I am against the treatment of animals.
I do it because it's a high vibrational diet. Those are all plant-based diet. Those are gifts from God. Just like we are. And
but I think what we're getting at here is you see it in everything, whether it be politics, religion, but even food choices, the extremists. And we're all for people fighting for what their heart says in a good cause, but it's all about balance. And Chris listens to his body, but talk about that, which I think is great.
Yeah, but what my philosophy with Sun, Mind, and Body is, we're not going to give you a diet program. We're not going to give you your intuition. And the more and more you get in your connection with the universe and with yourself and going in, the more and more that intuition starts to build, the more and more you start to follow what you should be eating.
Listen to your heart and your body. It's going to tell you what you need nutritionally, but it takes you being in touch with your body to do that.
These energies that have been coming in lately, for those of you that have been on this particular path and understand what we've been talking about through the episodes, it's fascinating how specific times I'll get gifted meat.
And we find out it goes with kind of the lunar cycle. It's really interesting.
Yeah, my lunar cycle, and it's spot on every single time.
It never fails. And we'll be brought, which is so funny. We don't really go out and he doesn't go out and buy meat. It literally will be brought to us.
Yeah.
Like a friend will gift us some steak or something,
yeah.
And then turkey.
I had a neighbor. I was on.
And it goes with these cycles. So
we did make. I made a turkey today, and it was.
I didn't eat it, which is cool.
And she didn't eat it, and it was. It's cool, but basically the whole vegan thing.
But there's no judgment here. I think that's what we're getting at. Like
And I think that if the vegan fam, the vegan crew, those that are
just
out there,
just continue to share.
I think we all agree that
it's the treatment.
The treatment of the animals is fucking bullshit, and that is where
because
where it
they
hits
have
home.
souls, and once you connect, it all goes down again to knowing yourself. Because for me, that's why I went vegetarian. When I found myself and really connected and looked within, my heart confirmed to me that everything is connected. Everything has a soul. So
even plants,
and so that was kind of for me why I think I went that direction. And so you just
it's a personal choice.
It's a personal choice. We're not going to knock people who are eating meat or anything.
I mean even carnivores. If you're
but there's that extremist. There's
the deal is
that's all I eat, and everyone else like it's just.
I think if everyone had some sort of solution, I think that balance is important personally. And I follow my intuition. So I'm not also, if somebody's going to invite me somewhere and serve me barbecue or anything like that, I'm not going to show up and be like, sorry, I don't eat meat. It was a gift. I live my life moment to moment and allow the universe to do its thing. I'm projecting and allowing life to happen. When things like that occur, I think those are gifts or saying, here, maybe at this particular time it'd be wise to eat some meat. I don't personally go seek it, but I think a good way to kind of, like, most people aren't ready to go vegan. That's
well, it's
another
not even
thing.
that. I think the one thing I really wanted to bring up about this, so we don't forget, is many people, you have to be really careful with your judgment, because most people in this world don't care about what they're going to eat next. It's more, am I going to even have enough money to get something to eat?
Yeah, we've been through that personally.
And so you don't know.
You can't like. I'm going to repeat.
There's basically a very aggressive way to get your point across, and then there's
solutions.
And then there's solutions.
I'm going to repeat what Cassie just said. That there are people out there who aren't necessarily concerned about what they're going to eat. It's whether or not they have enough money after they pay all their bills.
And I think people forget that.
To even fucking eat.
So you'll take what you can get to nourish your body and go on another day.
Just to get through that day. And if a lot of people haven't experienced that, but a lot of people have, and a lot of people are currently in that situation.
So I think really what it comes down to is
solutions.
The solutions.
I think that I had an idea about it.
A lot of people are doing this stuff.
A year ago that we eventually saw happen in Europe. But if every major city in the United States created a park of gardens and orchards and trees like that, you can provide jobs for homeless people to come work there, and they can get paid and eventually not be homeless. You can also provide them with food that they grow themselves. Schools, front yard lawns, I think are another thing. And then with that, you can teach the education about why it's important to have a plant-based diet.
And I think too, it goes down to, and again, I don't eat meat. However, I think it's important if people make the personal decision that their heart is okay with doing that. It's striving to the more educated. I know all treatment of animals is bad, it seems like. However, it's just educating people on it, I think, but also knowing they're going to try to make, hopefully because of what they learn and following their heart, if they still eat meat, hopefully they're trying to resource to the kindest they can be. Or I know there's options out there, or just limiting the meat intake. And so there's just things
I think if everybody drops their swords, if both sides drop their sword and kind of worked on, listen, it's pretty fucked up on how you do this. Okay, and show them.
Well, that's the problem. Not problem. That's the thing, though, and I completely agree with this. It's the whole issue of animals with soul. They should not be food. That's a whole belief as well. And I agree with that. I don't see animals as food, and children don't see animals as food.
Yeah,
that's why
specifically children.
Children don't. So that tells you something.
And they're the closest to the divine.
Yeah. A child looks at an animal and doesn't see food. It's until it's kind of forced upon them. So my opinion is strong. However, I rather have people be educated and make what's right for them, right choice for them.
I was indoctrinated into a meat world. That's all I knew. I didn't see it. And as I got older, I started to recognize things. But just be aware that we're all different.
Athenia. Yeah, just she's saying like looking up. She's made a comment looking up the truth. That was for me when I visually saw what happened. So I think people have to experience it firsthand. I was raised on a farm, so I was with animals, and I felt their soul, and I felt that they were.
Yeah.
There's no difference between a pig and a dog. There's no difference between a chicken and a cat or whatever. Yes, there's differences, but I mean, they're still animals, but they're still animals. So for me, but it's your own path, your own choice, and that's kind of, again, just wanted to say that.
I think
we're never gonna preach.
What I was trying to talk about is that more will get accomplished if everybody kind of pieces out real quick and says, okay,
let's make more.
What are you
better decisions and ethical decisions.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take a lot of time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to, especially down here in the South, you got a fucking barbecue joint on every corner like Starbucks. It's, and I'm sure that's throughout the whole place. But
what's great is that there's more options, and meat eaters are trying plant-based and things like that. So I think progress.
Shout out Spiral Diner. we love you.
No, but I think people are making it, the more people are voicing their opinions, just the more knowledge is being shared. And as long as there's passion and no judgment there, and it's just to try to better humanity, I think that should be the focus. But you're right, getting together, and I completely agree. I think
solutions.
Everything's about solutions, not just pointing fingers and judgment.
Because I see it like if you're choosing a side, well, what the fuck do you expect? Like if we're
not saying be completely neutral on everything. However, at the same time, we kind of are, because that quote I love: the left wing and the right wing are all part of the
same bird, baby.
You can look at that with everything. We're all one. Don't forget that. So,
and the more and more you go in, the more and more you'll start to understand that we need one another, and it's very important that everybody.
And that's people, animals. We all need each other.
Yeah. From
the littlest ant to, it's. And you discover that when you look within.
What I say about plants one time, that they're...
Shout out to the ones growing in concrete.
No. the thing about plants.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come to
how they make oxygen. They're the only things that make their own food.
Yeah, plants really, and there may be others, but just as a general example, like this
so they would
powerful.
they would be the one. They would be the ones that would end up surviving if everything went to shit.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing plants.
But we, I don't know. We'll talk about that some other time.
All right. So what else? So we talked about.
I don't want to talk about political stuff because I want to just make popcorn and watch this happen. There's a lot of things happening in that are going to be. So I have a feeling. I'm not making a prediction, but I have a feeling that this next week's going to be something. Mm-hmm. And. Let's see. So we talked about gratitude as a daily practice, everything,
and we just wanted to share just because what we see all the time, and with sun, mind, and body, and kind of talk about. We have a meat eater. I'm a vegetarian.
I don't
we're just so you know a little bit more about us, I guess, and also that we're never going to. It's
okay to be different.
Yeah,
it's okay to. It's okay to.
You can't force people not to follow their heart. Follow your heart.
Yeah, how dare you force somebody to follow their heart?
And that's why Sun is here, to kind of help remind people of that, because it's something, sadly, that's been so forgotten, and it's life. You got to follow your heart.
Be free, evolve, question, study, meditation.
Words for a Better Life? No, what is this? No. Am I supposed to guess the topic? No. What else? Anything else you want to talk about? I know people are...
Can we talk about UFOs?
Another episode.
Okay. What about... Oh, what did I... Did you know that a whale's fart bubble...
Where did you read this?
I just read this the other day. That
That's awesome.
A whale's fart bubble.
So is that why the ocean's
And let's be with a whale right now, and he just fart or she farts. Their fart bubble can contain a horse. Peace out.